August 28th, 1982. For the first time in the history of Speedway motorcycle competition, the United States hosts the World Individual Championship. Here on this 400-meter track, the world title will be decided among riders from 10 nations, 16 competing and 2 reserves. With 4-time world champion Barry Briggs, I'm Ken Squire. And here is the focal point of attention for the 40,000 gathered, largest crowd in U.S. history for a Speedway event. Bruce Penhall of Huntington Beach, California, the defending World Individual Speedway champion, coming out in a four-in-hand American style to defend his crown on home soil. Bruce Penhall, who won in front of 92,000 at Wembley, England 1 year ago.
Yes, he looks really nice and relaxed, Ken, but he's got his job cut out tonight. They're all after his World Championship, and he's going to have to really go for it to hang on to it.
The excitement builds as Speedway goes all-American here in the LA Coliseum. The riders: Moran of the United States, Collins of England, Starostin of the Soviet Union, Sigalos of the United States, Andersson of Sweden, Werner of Czechoslovakia, Jancarz of Poland, Carter of England, George Hack of West Germany, Jessup of England, P Crump of Australia, Stancl of Czechoslovakia, Penhall of the US, K Niemi of Finland, Collins of England, Nielsen of Denmark, and the reserve, Sova and Graham. International Speedway competition may be new to the United States, but the enthusiasm is certainly there, Barry.
Yes, Ken, there's amazing. The crowd has really got into it before the racing started. There's Sigalos fans there, just like English fans, cheering their heroes on.
Let's talk about the rules for international competition. There are 20 races, 3 points for a win in each of them, 2 points for second, 1 point for third, no points for fourth.
And each rider has 5 rides, and the perfect score is 15 points. And the rider that has the most points in the evening is the 1982 world champion. And each rider races each other once only.
As opposed to Great Britain, where this sport is so well known, it's a bit of a curiosity here in the United States. They can still advertise and promote the fact that these machines have absolutely no brakes, and it gathers a lot of fans. It is a curiosity here, but here are the finest riders in the world ready to compete.
And this undoubtedly be one of the toughest World Championship trials of any motorsport. Tonight they start off in the pits at the beginning of the meeting, all the same, and at the end, the one with the most points is going to be the winner.
As opposed to automobiles or other forms of motorcycle racing where a World Championship is decided on an entire season over 16 or 17 events. Riders coming to the line for the first 4-lap, 4-rider heat. Colors indicate their starting positions. Red on the inside for race 1, K Moran. Blue for the second starting gate for former world champion Peter Collins. White for the third starting gate, Starostin of Russia. And on the outside, in yellow, D Sigalos of the United States.
Very important races, Ken. They want to settle down early. Sigalos is on the outside, could be good to start with. Probably going to be a little bit better later in the meeting. But as they settle in, Moran on the inside, he looks as though he might have a better start. But this is it, the start of the 82 World Championship.
D Sigalos takes the lead. Going to second is the youngest rider in the field, K Moran, and now the former world champion, Peter Collins on the inside, goes into second, relegating Moran to third.
Yes, a beautiful corner by Collins, but Moran challenges back. He's trying to get back down on the inside of Collins, but Sigalos has got fresh air in front of him, and he's going away from the other two.
The battle for second place between the former world champion, Peter Collins, and K Moran. Sigalos continuing to lead. 4 laps and 4 laps only.
And there goes K Moran. What a beautiful move. Right up on the inside, underneath Peter Collins, and he put Peter Collins back into 3rd place. But Sigalos is still out in the fresh air.
D Sigalos, who started in British League competition in 1979, now at his best in front of his home crowd, coming down with 1 lap remaining. Sigalos, who won the U.S. qualifier at Long Beach, California earlier this year, really settling in here in this World Championship.
Yes, it's a very important thing on such an important meeting, Ken, to have a good first ride. You go back to the pits very, very confident, and Sigalos must feel that now.
In that 2nd position, K Moran, as they come down for the checkers in round 1. United States, 1st and 2nd. Great Britain's Peter Collins in 3rd. D Sigalos, the man of the moment. D Sigalos, in his first World Championship performance, comes out with 3 points. 2nd, K Moran for 2. Collins 1 point for 3rd.
What a super corner that is by K Moran. Right down on a bit of virgin dirt, scoots straight past Collins, and what a fantastic pass.
Ready now for race number 2. And in this one we'll see this young man here, 21-year-old Kenny Carter from England. Many say he is the man who will take the title away from Bruce Penhall. On the inside, in red, J Andersson of Sweden. Starting beside him is Jancarz, the oldest rider in the field. Then comes Verner of Czechoslovakia. And on the outside, Kenny Carter of Great Britain.
It is 3 points back after that first ride and changing to a higher steer ratio. We'll keep you up to date on the pit area. The round complete right now. It is race number 2.
Carter on the outside's trying to make a rolling start. He's moving backwards and forwards, hoping that he's going to be moving forward as the tape's gone up. And up go the tapes, and Carter's made a flying start with Andersson tucked very closely in behind him.
Making his move on the inside, Jancarz goes to 2nd place. Edward Jancarz into 2nd, but the leader is Kenny Carter, injured just 3 weeks before this race. Was intensive care. Now he's out in front trying to score 3 points.
Yes, a superb start by Kenny Carter, Ken, and Jancarz made a very, very good first corner, got through to 2nd place, but Andersson now is challenging him up the inside, but Jancarz is holding off Andersson. Andersson attacks again up the inside, but Jancarz just holds him up, but Kenny Carter still holds the lead.
Kenny Carter draws away from the field. Injured in April, he broke his jaw. Then at Ipswich, England, he had a bad come-off and has injured his left lung. Still out here, still riding, short of breath before every race, but now flawless in this 4-lap go.
Yes, what a superb start to the meeting for Kenny Carter. He's pulled quite a distance on Jancarz. Jancarz has left the Swede behind, and he's very, very close now.
Jancarz in 2nd, Andersson in 3rd as they close out race number 2. The winner, Kenny Carter. And let's take another look at that amazing start by Carter, one of the best gators in the game.
Yes, Carter's on the outside here. What he tries to do, he tries to anticipate the start. He's done a perfect start. He's getting superb grip to the first corner. He just gets there ahead of J Andersson, cuts across, but the rider to watch is number 7 in blue, Jancarz, who's come through from last, a superb first corner.
Ready for race number 3. And in this race, we'll see David Jessup of England on the inside in red, 29 years old. Beside him in blue, P Crump from Australia. Then comes the West German champion 3 times in a row, George Hack, and J Stancl starts outside. That is J Stancl of Czechoslovakia on the outside in the 4th position. Ready for race number 3.
And Jessup makes a superb start off the inside, moves right across in front of George Hack, scatters everybody. Hack's gone a little bit wide and let Crump up the inside, and Stancl on the outside in yellow, battling very hard.
George Hack in the white helmet back to 2nd place. P Crump of Australia down the inside back to 3rd. He is being challenged by J Stancl in the yellow helmet.
And Jessup's got a nice comfortable lead with Hack behind him, and Stancl pushing very hard after Hack for the 3rd place.
David Jessup out in front. Won the World Pairs Championship in 1980 with Peter Collins, and showing championship style here.
And there's Dave Jessup, absolutely as smooth as silk, round the inside, doesn't bobble at all. Hack in second place, Crump struggling out on the outside in third place, and Stancl back in fourth place.
Phil Crump has lost his blue helmet cover, so we have 2 yellow helmets out there, and it is Crump currently battling for that lone third place point. And on the inside, Australia's Phil Crump is back again, trying to collect that point. Whoa, getting tagged out there. Crump, he and George Hack colliding.
Yes, and Jessup just rolls along, easy, easy, easy. But Hack stays in the second place, Crump third, and Stancl fourth, but no opposition for Jessup.
And so the winner in race number 3 is 29-year-old David Jessup of England, still looking for his first world championship. 3 points for Jessup on the scoreboard. The first American to win the world crown since Jack Mill in 1937 now prepares to defend his crown. The Fox, Bruce Penhall. Earlier, Dave Despain talked with him.
Defending world champion Bruce Penhall, how does it feel to defend that title in front of your home fans?
Well, I'll tell you what, Dave, I've got a hell of a lot of butterflies, but I feel that most of the people out there, all the Americans, and hopefully a few other supporters are behind me tonight, along with the other 2 Americans, of course. And it's really nice to be racing in front of them, and especially on a big event like tonight.
There's been a bit of controversy surrounding the 3 Americans who are here. What is the team feeling about winning the world championship in the Coliseum?
Well, the team feeling right now is pretty much left alone. I think every man for themselves, for sure tonight. You know, we're just going for the gold, and each one of us want to be world champion. I want to be world champion again, but I'm going to have to think of myself a lot more tonight than what I have in the past few weeks or so. But it's been worth it helping them out, and they do the same for me, I'm sure.
Who are the people you got to beat? Who are the toughest contenders for the championship?
Well, I'm going to have to say Hans Nielsen from Denmark, Kenny Carter from England, Dennis from the States here, and K Moran. And I think Peter Collins, being 1976 world champion, he's going to be tough. You can't underestimate him.
Bruce, good luck tonight.
He's got his foot back on.
The elimination round at White City, England will never be forgotten by the British. The 19th race, the race that Bruce Penhall threw. British television reporter David Lanning called it a circus. It created controversy about this young rider like they have never seen before in Speedway. But he brought 2 other Americans into this World Finals with that 19th race, Sigalos and Moran. And now we are ready for race number 4. On the inside, Les Collins of Great Britain in red. Beside him from Finland, K Niemi. 6 straight Finnish championships for him. Then comes Hans Nielsen in white, world's pairs champion in 1977 with Ole Olsen. And on the outside, Bruce Penhall defending his world crown.
Very, very important, Ken. Penhall's on the outside. 2 of the 3 races have been won from the outside, but Collins on the inside, which also looks to be a good start tonight. But watch his start. And Penhall has missed the start. Collins makes a superb start. Penhall goes back up the inside, but Collins has got the run on him.
Meanwhile, holding on in third is K Niemi. Les Collins, one of the 4 Collins brothers, is out in front. Penhall making a stab on the inside.
And Penhall gets up the inside of Collins, but Collins has got more speed than Penhall. He pulls back in front of Penhall.
Brilliant riding by Great Britain's Les Collins. He still holds on. Now it's Penhall going into first place.
But Les Collins with his jaw has got more speed than Penhall, and he repasses Penhall again.
A tremendous battle between Great Britain and the United States in these World Individual Championships. Les Collins is back in front.
And Riling absolutely stylishly. He knows where Penhall is. Penhall's up the inside all the time, and I think that Collins has got that little bit of speed. Penhall goes in wide, half loses control, but Collins doesn't move.
The champion Penhall challenges the challenger, and the challenger, Les Collins, rides even with him and pulls away again. This could change the entire World Championship. This battle being put on by Les Collins.
Les Collins appears to have a little bit of speed. Penhall turns back the inside, but Collins has got that little bit of critical speed. A win for Collins, second Penhall, and third Hans Nielsen from Denmark.
Les Collins has done it. a major upset in the first round. The fourth race. Collins of Great Britain defeats Bruce Penhall. Look again at that incredible maneuver by Les Collins. Penhall was then in front.
And Collins is just on the outside. He's got his wheels in line. He's on the back mudguard. He's getting every ounce of grip. He edges his way past, and he definitely looks as though he's got speed on the champion Penhall.
And let's take another look at that dash to the checkered flag, Barry.
Yes, Bruce Penhall's turned very quickly. He's got the wheels in line. He's getting on the back of the machine. Collins is out in the dirt, but he's riding equal to Penhall. He's got a little bit more speed. He pulls another half a length going to the finish, and he's beaten the champion to the finish.
Well, let's take a look now at the scoring after 4 races have been completed and all the riders have been out of the gate once. Sigalos and Carter, Jessup, as well as Collins, all are beginning to build a platform toward a perfect score. They are the winners thus far. Getting ready now for race number 5. And Penhall is going to come right back out to race again. This time he will be coming from the inside. Bruce Penhall, who scored 2 points in that last race, now assumes the position on the inside with a red helmet. Beside him is fellow American K Moran in blue. Then comes J Andersson in white. And on the outside in yellow is West Germany's George Hack.
This is a crucial race for Penhall.
Into the starting gate, get ready.
Penhall bursting out of the gate into first place and nearly taking down K Moran, a fellow American.
And J Andersson comes out in a fighting second place with Moran right behind him, but Penhall showed his guts and determination by getting out in front, chased hard by Andersson.
K Moran all the way back to 4th position now, trying to pick up some room on the inside, going to 3rd. Moran making a comeback to pick up a point.
Penhall has a look behind, sees everything's quite clear, 2 on a trot, very hard at this stage of the competition, but Andersson's still there with K Moran still charging on with George Hack in 4th place.
Sweden's J Andersson right there lurking in 2nd place, and Moran is back to 3rd.
Penhall, everything under control, smooth, down on the inside, no real problem. Moran's now chasing harder and harder at Andersson, but getting no luck up this stage of the race.
Down into that final lap, there's K Moran going up the outside on Sweden's J Andersson.
Penhall well in control, sitting back, taking it easy. Andersson's got Moran beaten, and as they flash across the line, Penhall, Andersson, Moran, and in last place, George Hack from Germany.
Bruce Penhall, how's this racetrack looking to you after 2 rides, a 2nd place finish, and a victory?
Well, the track's beautiful. It's really, really nice and smooth, but it's going to be very, very hard to do any passing on tonight because it's just too slick, really. But it's like a billiard table out there. It's nice and smooth. It's just the guy that gets out of the start's got to really go for it and try to win.
The point you lost to Les Collins, is that important at this juncture in the meeting?
Well, not right now, but it could be a problem later. I'm just going to have to wait and see what the rest of the riders do and just cross my fingers and hope somebody else drops a couple more points.
You appear to have drawn a good final heat. Is that going to be crucial here, do you think?
I think so. My 3rd heat's going to be a very tough one. My 4th one as well, but I feel good. I just missed the start a little bit in that 1st heat, and that's all she wrote.
Ready for race number 6. All important for England's David Jessup. Remember, he won his 1st race. He will be starting 2nd in the gate here in this event. And now let's for a moment take a look at the starters for race number 6 in the 1982 World Championship. K Niemi on the inside in red. Then comes Jessup. Beside him, the former world champion Peter Collins, and V Verner will start on the outside.
Dave Jessup on number 2 and in blue has got a win in his 1st race, so this is a very crucial race for him.
Heat number 6.
And Niemi on the inside is also crucial to try to make the start, as he got a 2nd in the 1st race. Niemi makes a superb start. He goes a little wide and Jessup tucks up the inside but doesn't quite get the drive coming out of the corner. Niemi leads it from Jessup.
Verner runs in 3rd.
Niemi smooth, Jessup tucked under him. Teammates at Wimbledon, so Niemi knows where to expect Jessup to challenge him.
Peter Collins still back and forth. Pulling away now. Niemi, 6 successive times. He was the national finish champion. Riding beautifully here in the Los Angeles Coliseum, and he's holding Jessup, who has been ill for some time before this 1982 World Finals. Some people say the time is running out for David Jessup to win the World Crown.
And Niemi now seems to have this race well sewn up. Jessup's driving away. He's quite clear of the third man, V Verner. And in last place, we have Peter Collins really struggling tonight.
It's Niemi with a lap to go in first. David Jessup rides in second. V Verner is in third, the Czechoslovakian. There's your leader, Niemi.
Niemi, he's settled in. 3 points now from this race and 2 from the one before. It puts him in contention, and he makes a good finish. And it's first Niemi, second Jessup, and third V Verner.
K Niemi, who rides in British League for the Wimbledon team, wins here in round number 6, collecting 3 points, and gives him a total of 5 thus far in the competition. Les Collins will be out in race number 7. Remember, he beat Bruce Penhall earlier. A very intent observer, D Sigalos, who won his first race, watching the performance of Collins now in race number 7. The starting grid for race 7 from Australia on the inside in red is Crump. Then comes Les Collins in blue. Jancarz starts from that third gate in white, and on the outside, failing to score in the first round, Starostin of Russia. Bruce Penhall also, remember, he came in only second in his first round, watching the performance of Les Collins in blue.
And another superb start by Les Collins. Out of the start on one wheel, gets down on the inside. He's got the bit between his teeth. Look at him go.
Phil Crump, riding in second place from Australia. Crump is in second, holding third is J Jancarz. Jancarz down the inside for second place.
A beautiful pass there by Jancarz. He's closing now on Les Collins. Crump is up the inside again of Jancarz, and what a tussle this is for second place.
Losing his helmet cover is Phil Crump, so the colors on that rider change a bit here. He's on the outside challenging for second position, but holding on to that position, Edward Jancarz of Poland.
And look at Les Collins. He looks as though that first one has done so much for his confidence. He just has the race under control.
The second of the 4 Collins brothers in speedway competition from Great Britain. In his first World Championship performance. In the finals, out in front with a lap to go, Les Collins, he could be the upset here.
Yes, Ken, he won in Sweden, but this seems as though this could be his night again. He's smooth. Jancarz is challenging hard with Crump way out on the outside, looking for that vital bit of grip, but a great win for Les Collins.
Les Collins continues to gather it up and ride brilliantly here. Les Collins, who won in his first round, wins in his second round as he continues to work toward a perfect score. Momentarily, Les Collins leads overall with 6 points. Penhall is second with 5. Big race coming up in number 8. Let's join Dave Despain.
Les Collins, in your first World Championship appearance, 2 victories. You must be pretty pleased.
Yeah, very pleased actually. I just hope that I can keep on going and win my next 3 as well.
Have you found any surprises out there yet?
The biggest surprise is that I've won 2 races out of 2 races, so hopefully I can keep going.
You didn't expect to do that well?
Well, I came here, to win, which is every rider's ambition. But so far, I've had 2 wins, which is absolutely great.
Good luck for the rest of the evening.
Thank you.
Les Collins taking the lead here in the second round.
In race number 8, a battle of unbeatens. Kenny Carter and D Sigalos both scored 3 points in that first round. Sigalos was hospitalized earlier in the week. Some say a asthmatic attack, others say pure nerves. Beside him will be Kenny Carter. Carter of England riding hurt, injured a lung of all things. His manager is the 6-time world champion Ivan Major, and he says he can run these 4-lap races in one breath. We'll see. On the inside in red, D Sigalos. Beside him from Great Britain, Kenny Carter. Then comes J Stancl next. And on the outside, in yellow, Hans Nielsen, the Danish rider.
And I'd give Dennis Sigalos the bit of an edge in this race. He's off gate number 1. 4 of the first 8 races have been won off gate 1, but Carter is in a very, very determined mood, so he's not going to have it easy.
Sigalos rockets out of the gate, but Carter comes up the outside. Sigalos is back on the inside, and Carter takes him.
And Carter's made a brilliant move in the first corner, but Sigalos is hunting him. Carter's right down the line on one wheel, goes a little bit wide, but he keeps it beautiful control and still keeps his lead over Sigalos.
Dennis Sigalos in second. In third position, J Stancl. Out back is Hans Nielsen.
And Carter looks as though he's making every post a winning post. He's going in very hard. Sigalos is not gaining a little on him, and Stancl is challenging up the inside of Sigalos.
The helmet cover comes off from Kenny Carter, and he almost comes off again, having another problem this time in the first and second corner.
Yes, he's sitting right on the back of the machine. Carter's trying to get every ounce of grip out of the machine, and he's getting on one wheel a lot in most unusual places, but he's still got a tremendous lead over Sigalos.
Kenny Carter by 6 bike lengths, getting down to the end of race number 8, looks to be on his way toward a perfect score. This would put him in a tie for first place, with Penhall still back in second, a point behind. It is all Kenny Carter after that first lap tussle in race number 8. Carter is your winner, the man who finished 4th 1 year ago, 1981 at Wembley. Look at this replay of the start.
And look at Sigalos. Sigalos looks as though he made the start. They bumped going to the first corner. Sigalos looks as though he's got the inside running and the best line, but Carter wiggles his way on the outside of Sigalos and gets that extra little bit of grip. What a terrific first corner.
Now watch this turn 4.
And here's Carter again, hard on the inside, sitting back for that extra bit of grip on one wheel. What fantastic control. Look at that, he got it right down without losing an inch of ground with Sigalos tucked in behind. Fantastic riding by Carter.
Kenny Carter, you've got 2 victories. You're obviously having some difficulty with the lungs. How are you feeling?
I'm a bit out of breath at the moment.
Is it causing you a problem on the track?
Well, not really. I'm just screwing it on and hanging on there.
I think you can see in the man's face the difficulty that he's having here. Kenny Carter, with the injury that he's sustained, still out front with a perfect ride here tonight and 6 points.
21-year-old Kenny Carter is tied for first place with Les Collins at 6 points after every rider has raced twice. We've completed 8 heats. Then we have 3 riders on 5 points, Sigalos, Penhall, and Jessup, as we prepare for race number 9. There you see K Moran wearing number 1, one of those 2 riders that Bruce Penhall brought into the World Finals with that celebrated 19th race at White City, England. He would not have made the World Finals had Penhall not pulled him through by throwing an event.
Getting ready for the start, you can see Moran looking for a good solid part of the starting gate to start on. You don't want to start in a crooked rut because it's very, very important to go out straight.
Verner will be on the inside in red. Then comes Hans Nielsen. He'll be starting second. In white, K Moran. And on the outside is Phil Crump, the Australian. Phil Crump moved to British League competition back in 1971. This is his 3rd World Final performance. Just to make the World Finals makes you an exceptional rider.
This is a very, very important race for K Moran. He's only got 3 points, and he's got to win this one to stay in contention, and it's ever so important that he makes a good start.
Moran falling back. Phil Crump cuts across, takes the lead.
But look at Nielsen up the inside, followed by Moran, and Moran's beside Nielsen, but not quite. Nielsen leads going into the 3rd corner.
Hans Nielsen in blue. On the outside is Phil Crump in yellow. Down the inside in white comes K Moran.
And Moran's got the run on Nielsen. He's got the inside. He drifts in, and Nielsen's gone a little bit wide. And what a superb first lap by Moran.
K Moran in front. Hans Nielsen of Denmark in second. K Kelly Moran, the youngest rider in the field, looking for 6-point total if he stays out in front of Hans Nielsen.
Yes, he's riding really smoothly, and Kelly seems to have this race under control, but Nielsen's still pushing him hard with Phil Crump back in third place.
Australian Phil Crump trying to pick up an additional point. There's Nielsen again trying to get the inside line, coming out just a bit, and with 1 lap to go, it remains Kelly Moran in front. This is his second World Final performance. He was 4th in 1979 at the age of 18.
And this puts him back in striking distance of the leaders. He seems to have this race well under control. The public's right behind him, and Nielsen's got no answer to this burst of Moran's.
Kelly Moran wins in race number 9. Give him 6 points as a total now. Moran, your winner. Nielsen second. Phil Crump of Australia third. Kelly Moran back in the winner's circle here in the World Finals. Let's look again in replay at that start of race number 9.
You can see Phil Crump on the outside in yellow. He goes down very, very hard. It chops up Kelly Moran, bangs into Nielsen, and then he goes straight past the corner. But what a superb corner there by Hans Nielsen up the inside in the blue helmet. And there's Moran following him through for a dramatic dash on the first corner.
Kelly Moran taking the line going into turn number 3. And this is the kind of competition that makes Speedway the exciting sport that it is throughout the world. Coming to the United States in World Championship form for the first time here in the LA Coliseum. Some 40,000 certainly getting their money's worth in battles like this between Nielsen and Moran. We're ready now for race number 10. Inside, Stancl of Czechoslovakia red, then J Andersson of Sweden in blue. Then comes the man working on a perfect score, Les Collins, who has 6 points thus far, and Peter Collins, his brother, the former world champion, outside.
And a beautiful start. Red makes a superb start. That's Stancl up the inside, but where is Les Collins? He's gone back to third place. What a dramatic race this is.
J Andersson is in second now on the outside. Here comes Les Collins. Remember, he's won his first 2 races. Collins trying to come back on the outside, sweeping into turn number 1. Andersson takes him out again. J Andersson of Sweden is back into second place.
And what a surprise. J Stancl is split from the field with Andersson second and Les Collins is third. This has opened the World Championship completely wide open again.
J Stancl, who qualified for this LA World Championship by winning the Continental Final in Poland. He had a maximum. He won every race he was in, 15 points. Here you see Stancl in front. Could change the entire picture of this World Championship. Stancl leading. There you see, in second place, back to the line, Les Collins. Collins, who had won 2 straight, relegated to third.
And Stancl's just cruising away into the night. A superb, tidy ride after not very much in the first couple of rides. This is what the World Championship's all about. Stancl, 10 straight times Czechoslovakian champion, wins in race number 10 here in the World Finals for 1982. Andersson second, and Collins has to settle for third place after winning his first 2 races.
For the win for Czechoslovakia.
Look again at the start.
This was a crucial start, and as you can see, white Les Collins, red going to the first corner, lost that crucial yard. Stancl made an absolute dream start right down the inside. It looks as though Collins is going to do the same as what he did to Penhall, but he's just lost that little bit of grip, and Andersson's made up that yard. Now he's got Collins up against the fence, and look at Collins, he's squeezed and he's got to ease it off a bit.
Brilliant racing in the World Finals. We're ready for race number 11. And in race number 11, Kenny Carter of England, working on that perfect score. Remember, he just beat Sigalos a few moments ago, goes up against George Hack. There is the inside man, Kenny Carter. He'll start from the red lane. Then comes Hack, followed by the Soviet Union's campaigner in white, Starostin. And on the outside, K Niemi of Finland, who has picked up 3 points thus far. Race number 11, a must-win situation for Carter if he intends to beat Penhall. That's Carter in red. Kenny Carter wins the gate.
And George Hack right underneath him and round the outside, taking a wild dash as Niemi the Finn. But Carter's got it well under control down the back straight with Hack tucked in behind him and Niemi there as well.
The Russian still resting well back in fourth. Out in front, Kenny Carter working on that perfect score.
And this is bad for Penhall's World Championship hopes. Carter's on 9 points and he's really got it all to do. And there's Niemi underneath Hack, just about hit him, but Hack pulls away in second place with Niemi in third place.
Hack of West Germany in that second position, determined to pick up 2 points. Just as determined, up in front, Kenny Carter.
Kenny Carter sitting on a perfect score, but will he look as smooth as this when he meets Penhall in heat 14? Because that's when the fireworks are going to go. Carter and him have been having a battle for the last 2 years. He feels as though that Penhall took the world crown off him last year when it was his. Watch heat 14.
1 year ago, in his first performance in a world final, Kenny Carter relegated to fourth, and he hasn't got over it yet. His arch rival will be out of the next event, Penhall, and he must do well there. There's that battle for second and third taking place as George Hack and K Niemi continue to battle the line, but it was all Kenny Carter coming across in race number 11, with second place belonging to George Hack and third to K Niemi. You could see the expertise of Carter as he came out of the gate, relying on Ivan Major, his manager, over the past year to really get himself together. And let's look and replay at that start another time.
And Niemi's on the outside in yellow. He appears to make the best start, but look at Carter moving the throttle backwards and forwards, sitting on the back mudguard, coaching every little bit of grip and speed to the first corner, makes a perfect start, pulls away from Hack, and Niemi's having a big burst around the outside, which realises him nothing.
And the reaction of the 6-time world champion and manager of Kenny Carter, Ivan Major.
Ivan, a position you've been in as a world champion yourself. Kenny's 3 up, 2 to go. Do you think he's got the makings?
Yeah, Kenny can handle the pressure, and this injury lately has just relaxed him enough to whereas he's got really impatient. He really wants to go, and he's going.
He's made 3 very good gates. How about his powers from the back?
Well, he's riding very good, and I feel that he could take guys from the back if he had to, really had to. But he's at the moment he's so impatient because he hasn't been racing. He's ready to go when the tapes go. I don't imagine that he'll get beaten out of the start.
You are saying that Kenny's injury could have been a blessing in disguise. It must be hampering his form. He is breathless.
Well, it is now to talk, but I mean, he sits down for a few minutes before he goes out. He's okay. He's got his breath back again, and he can last for the race. And he's got the determination, and he's got everything about it to be world champion. And he's 3/4 way there now, and I think he'll keep going.
Ivan, it strikes me with you in his camp, he'll do it.
Hope so.
We are ready now for race 12. Critical event for Bruce Penhall, for Dennis Sigalos, and for England's David Jessup. They are all tied with 5 points. Whoever wins here stays very much in the hunt. Also in this event is J Jancarz of Poland. There you see in the blue helmet Dennis Sigalos of the United States. On the inside in red is Bruce Penhall as the riders are pushed off. Penhall will be starting from the inside gate. When Penhall won the World Championship a year ago, he dropped only 1 point. He finished second in the last race to Kenny Carter. Now he is second as he approaches his 3rd ride of the meet. There you see Sigalos. Sigalos could really be the dark horse here, riding well, the great friend of Penhall. They grew up together, they trained together. Now they meet as foes. On the inside, Penhall with the red, Dennis Sigalos with the blue helmet. England's wonderful David Jessup, 29 years old, trying to put it back together here, and J Jancarz of Poland starts on the outside.
3 best starters in the world are brought together here. Penhall, Sigalos and Dave Jessup, and just watch these boys start. And Penhall has a lot of luck then. If he had broke the tapes, he would have been out of the race, and that would have been him down the drain.
On the start, Penhall breaks in front, Sigalos second, and going down the inside, David Jessup now taking second. Sigalos dropping to third, Jancarz in fourth.
Penhall's out in the lead again, Jessup challenging, but here's Sigalos challenging up the inside of Jessup again after a very, very unfortunate first corner for him.
Bruce Penhall in a must-win situation if he intends to stay in there and rival Kenny Carter. Sigalos going to the inside. Jessup getting high in turn 2. There's the battle for second place.
And Sigalos gets Jessup up against the fence, doesn't leave him an inch more than he needs, and shuts him against the fence, but Penhall pulls away majestically.
It is Dennis Sigalos into second place. Penhall maintaining first. Back to third falls David Jessup. Penhall now getting a bit of an advantage, pulling away from the field.
And Penhall's got that form back again, so heat 14 against Kenny Carter looks the crucial one. He has a look, he's well in control.
Into the last lap. Bruce Penhall, defending world champion, with Sigalos behind him. Completing that last lap, there you see in the white helmet David Jessup, who had an excellent start, got under Sigalos. Now he's falling back. As they come around to take the flag, something is amiss with Jessup, and coming across the line in third will be J Jancarz. Jessup had an engine failure as he came out of turn 4. Jancarz will get the third position and that 1 point. But Bruce Penhall wins it. Penhall stays in the hunt. He now has 8 points. He is just 1 point behind Kenny Carter.
Jessup in white pushes the tape, suckers Penhall right through the tapes, but he didn't break him. Big luck, because he would have been disqualified from the race. As they move, Sigalos makes the first yard better than Penhall, but Penhall works that little bit harder with throttle control and getting the grip to the ground, pushes Sigalos past. Jessup files up the inside. Also, Jancarz slips through, but Sigalos on the exits of the corner passes him and comes out of the corner in third place.
The battle in this event was for second place. Look at this competition between Sigalos on the inside and David Jessup.
And Sigalos made a much better entry in the corner, turned the bike much earlier than what Jessup did, got up the inside, got on the grip earlier, and now he's got Jessup up against the fence, and he knows where Jessup is, so he's only got to keep Jessup on the outside of him to get around this corner in the better position.
David Jessup continues to be star-crossed in these world championships, as in 1978 and 81, a mechanical failure has put him down in the point battle. It's Jawa breaking down on him. There are the points. Carter leading, Penhall, Sigalos, Les Collins, all tied with 7 now.
Dennis Sigalos, they say it's tough to pass out there. That was quite a pass you made in that heat. Definitely aggressive riding on an injured ankle. How's it going for you?
Pretty good. Not as well as I'd like to go right now. I kind of need to win that race, and I really wanted to win that last race. Dave made a bit of a mistake, I think, and he just went a bit wide, and I managed to get underneath him, which was very fortunate for me. You know, everything is going great. I just need to make my starts a little bit better and ride a little bit faster.
What have you learned in your first World Championship appearance so far?
It's pretty nerve-wracking right now. You know, all the people and the atmosphere is just, it's unreal. You know, for my first time, it's great. I love it, though.
Bruce Penhall here with a clutch victory over his American teammate, Dennis Sigalos. Everybody's looking at Kenny Carter, Bruce. What do you think it's going to take to beat him here?
Oh, it's going to take a good start, that's for sure. Luckily, I think he's on the outside of me in this next ride. On gate 3, I think I'm out of gate 2. And Dennis didn't make all that bad of a start in that last heat with me, and he was out of gate 2, so that's a plus for me, really. But it's going to take some doing, really, because he's going really quick tonight.
Do you see him being beatable in that one?
I think he can be, no kidding, I mean, he can be beat for sure.
Ready for race 13. From the inside will come J Jancarz with a red helmet, J Stancl of Czechoslovakia in blue, K Niemi of Finland starts in the white helmet, and on the outside from the United States, K Moran in yellow.
A very important start for K Moran, and look at him streak from the start, closes everyone down the line, plenty of body English, look at that, feet on the footrest, marvellous drive coming out of the first corner.
In the second position, J Jancarz. Jancarz of Poland in second, and riding third, it is J Stancl of Czechoslovakia.
Moran takes a crafty little look behind. Now he can keep himself up and the chance of getting on the podium at the end. Still balancing, away he goes, perfect grip, the machine just lifting off the ground there along the straights.
Youngest rider in the field, K Moran in front, midway in race 13. In red, J Jancarz being challenged by J Stancl of the time. The world champion Bruce Penhall doing some defensive observing of fellow American K Moran. who has become one of the most popular riders from the United States in British League competition. He rides for Eastbourne and says his biggest disappointment this year has been that his brother was not able to make these World Finals. There's that battle for second place coming to the line. It will be 3 points for Moran, and into second place as they cross the line is Edward Jancarz. Stancl getting third in race number 13. Let's look at the replay of the start.
On the outside, you can see K Moran's absolute perfect judgment off the start. Drops the clutch at a split second ahead of everybody. Takes a narrow line down, herds everybody up, and what a perfect balance. You can see his distinctive style compared with the other riders. A lot of body lead, whereas the other riders are more conservative, but that's where he gains his extra yard.
And here's the dazzling style as he came down for the checkered flag of K Moran.
I don't know how exactly the term is. Some neat other professionals here.
The most critical race of the meeting thus far, race number 14. There you see, in the blue helmet, Bruce Penhall, 1 point out of first place. And there is Kenny Carter in the white helmet, with his manager Ivan Major currently leading this World Championship event in the Los Angeles Coliseum. He is on 9, Penhall is on 8. The starting lineup for race 14. Peter Collins in red on the inside from England. Then Bruce Penhall in blue from the United States. In white, Kenny Carter of England. And on the outside in yellow, Phil Crump of Australia. It could all be decided here.
Look at the concentration in Penhall's eyes as he's trying to anticipate when the starts go. He moves, Collins goes right over the top of the tapes. Very, very lucky. If he breaks that tape, that's him out of the race. But Collins' main interest here is to beat Penhall and Carter to help his brother Les win the World Championship.
Rolling back, the 1976 World Champion Peter Collins. This event not going well for him. He is on 1 point. They pull back from the gate. Bruce Penhall circulating and coming back another time for the starting order.
This is a little ploy they pull, Ken. They try to get each other psyched up, and you stay away from the start. The rider sitting at the tape waiting for the race to begin. He gets nervous, so they're trying to get each other at 6s and 7s.
Jerry King, the starter, has all the riders back at the gate for race 14, Carter versus Penhall. There is Bruce Penhall, defending world champion. And the man who nearly won it last year in the white helmet, Kenny Carter, directly beside him.
And as the tapes go up, Penhall makes another superb start. Out straight into Carter's leg, goes past the corner, puts Carter back, and this allows Peter Collins to roar out of the first corner in the lead.
Peter Collins in first, Crump is in second, Penhall third, and Kenny Carter is fourth as they come around to complete lap number 1. This is totally unexpected, a complete turn of events. Collins in first, Crump in second. Penhall coming to the inside, battling for second place. Penhall down at the bottom, going into second.
And here comes Carter right round the line, up the inside completely. And look at him banging into Penhall. Carter on the inside, another one for Penhall.
Carter into second place. Now Penhall is back to second place. Out of turn number 2, Carter goes down. Carter has crashed through the retainer in turn number 2.
Luckily, that's a very safe part of the fence, Ken. He's right under it. The bike's disappeared, but we only can hope that Carter's physically okay.
Red lights are on around the track. There is bound to be an exclusion. Here's Bruce Penhall coming up to observe what has happened after that collision with Carter in turn 2. Let's look and replay at what happened.
Penhall 13 driving underneath Carter. Carter's left him room. He'll probably regret that. Penhall's now pushing him out, and now Carter's got to make a decision whether he keeps going or shuts off. He keeps going. His handlebars clips the back of Penhall's machine, and down he goes.
Look at this action in the main straightaway. Question will be, was there a clip there? But look at this. It's obvious, the rough ride in the main straightaway with on the inside Carter, Penhall on the outside. Carter comes all the way to second position here. Then Penhall challenges again on the inside to take second position back. And the result, a catastrophe.
A and Penhall's got him in the bad position again. Once again, if Carter's got two decisions, one shut off or one keep going, and he's keeping going, and look at that, clip the back end of Penhall's machine, and away he goes again.
There is bound to be a major controversy between these two highly competitive lads, Penhall and Carter, after this race. Again, look at the rough riding in the main straightaway. Outside Penhall, leaning a bit on Carter, and Carter leans right back into Bruce Penhall.
I think what's happened, Ken, Penhall pushed Carter in the first corner, and it's taken Carter 2.5 laps, really angrily chasing Penhall. He's got him, now he's given him a bit back, but look at them there, they're hitting each other. If Penhall had to come off there, Carter 100% would have been thrown out of the race. But he's come into the corner, and this is where I reckon Carter makes the biggest mistake of the night. He gives Penhall room up the inside to get him on the bad end of the stick again.
Unquestionably the most physical motorsports game there is. World Championship could be decided on this one action moment that comes up in turn number 2 of race number 14. There's Penhall. Now, because he's in front, he has the line. And on the outside, Carter just doesn't want to give ground. The question is, did Penhall clip the legs right out from underneath Kenny Carter? The report is that Kenny Carter, after going through the fence, is all right. Kenny Carter being administered to by the safety personnel here in the Los Angeles Coliseum. Carter is walking away, just 3 weeks out of intensive care from a crash in England, walking away from another bruising incident, this in the World Championship, and he must be angry. British fans by the thousands have come to this Los Angeles Coliseum, and most of their hopes were on his shoulders. David Despain is moving in to get a word with Kenny Carter.
Kenny Carter, what happened?
Well, Bruce Penhall just took my leg straight from under me, and my front wheel went, and I had just no chance.
Are you all right?
Well, I'm a bit winded.
You've been excluded. Do you have a reaction to that?
They can't exclude me for that race.
Will you contest that? Well, obviously, Kenny Carter very upset as he goes to consult with his team manager, Ivan Major.
And that is the word. Kenny Carter has been excluded. Ivan Major is on the phone trying to talk to the referee.
Hello, referee. That race, I had turned in the corner, and Bruce just took my leg, and I couldn't even turn me. Just both of my wheels just went from under me, and he just ran me straight through the fence coming out. I was on the outside in front, and he just took my leg straight underneath me, and I'm not kidding, referee. I just hadn't a chance. I've been injured as it isn't. Hello? I've been injured as it. He just stuffed me straight in. He took my leg and everything. I had no chance.
Kenny Carter talking with Tori Kittleson, the Norwegian referee for this event.
Excuse me, ref, how can I cause a stoppage of the race when he just took my leg straight from under me? Unfair riding, obviously. I mean, I passed him on the pit corner and he bloody turned right. He turned left. I went from the start and he turned right from the start and went straight across the front of me. And then on the when I come past him on the inside, he went straight across hooked up onto me, and he's elbowing me, and I'm trying to get off him because my handlebars were stuck on him, and he just went straight into that corner and took my leg straight from under me. You can ask Barry Briggs, Ivan Major, ask anybody. That's disgusting.
The referee has the one and only say on a call like this.
Well, I mean, can't you speak to somebody? That's bloody, it's just robbed me of the world title, that. Do you know that?
They are restaging race 14. Bruce Penhall ready to go now against only Peter Collins and Phil Crump. But Kenny Carter, although he is excluded, is very much on the track. Do you ever recall an incident like this before, Barry Briggs?
Yes, I had an incident with O.V. Fundin in 1957. We both finished with 14 points, and we had a runoff, and we clashed, and Fundin went under the fence, and they gave me the victory. They said it wasn't my fault, but normally you've got no chance at all. When the referee makes a decision, he's going to stick to it, because if he changed it here tonight, he'd be hung.
There's Kenny Carter looking across at Bruce Penhall now. And now the security is removing Kenny Carter, taking him away from the starting line.
Penhall gets on one wheel. He makes an absolute perfect start. Gets right down on Peter Collins, who looked as though he was going to run the original race, and out of the first corner with Collins challenging on the outside.
It is Bruce Penhall now leading in race 14. As they restage and rerun the event, Peter Collins comes to the outside, and Collins looks more determined than we've seen him throughout the program.
Yes, Collins is after the points off of Penhall to help his brother Les, but it looks as though Penhall, after that scuffle and crash, then it doesn't done anything to his confidence, and he's all the more determined.
Phil Crump maintaining third, one rider excluded, Kenny Carter. Penhall riding for 3 points here. This will put him right back in the event and put him on top for the moment.
And Collins still plugs away, trying to catch up on Penhall, but Penhall looks as though he's got it well in control. He knows what he's got to do. He's got a relatively easy last race. This is the race that Penhall must win to virtually seal his championship.
It is Bruce Penhall coming into the final moments of race 14. And with these 3 points, he will now have a total of 11. Les Collins will have 10. And Kenny Carter will have a total of 9 points, tied with Kelly Moran. Collins congratulating Penhall at the end of 14, but there will be no congratulatory note from Carter, still angry after being excluded from race 14. This World Championship now has a Penhall slant. We're trying to get Kenny Carter to take a look at what happened in race 14.
Here in the pits with Kenny Carter. Kenny, we're going to give you an opportunity to take a look at the replay of the incident and have you tell us, in your words, what happened out there.
Right, I've come on the inside of Bruce there, and he can see, if you see, he's got right up in front of me, coming down and we're fighting coming down the straight. There, you can see, look how far Bruce is leaning on me there. He's turning right, left, sorry. Right, I'm in front there now. Now watch this. Right, that's me in front. Now watch this. Just watch this in a minute coming out of the corner. There. Right. Keep watching. Now there. Just no way, no chance. He just smacked my front wheel with his back wheel. Just no chance.
I'm here with Tori Kittleson, the referee, who is from Norway, who has been at World Championship events the last 7 in a row. Highly controversial call in that battle between Penhall and Carter. Your side of what the story is here.
Well, in my opinion, it was a very hard race, really a hard race. They bumped into each other on the stride, on this stride, coming around in that second corner. From my point of view, they were very tight, but in my opinion, Kenny Carter fell off himself, and therefore I had to stop the race and recall 3 riders back and have to exclude Kenny Carter. The rule says that if the race has to be stopped, one of the riders that caused the stop has to be excluded. And in my opinion, Kenny Carter fell off by himself.
You bring the guy halfway around the world to make a decision like this. The fellas, they spend half their life getting ready for a meeting like this, and the guy sits up in a towel like a god and won't even come and look at the television.
The question here is, who has the line? Who has control in the corners?
Well, the riders who are in the front are in the position of his way of racing.
Now, there would be some that say that there was some rough riding done by Penhall in the main straightaway.
Of course, there was rough riding, yeah. But it's very hard. This is a World Championship final, and rough riding, we must confess that rough riding will be in a World Final. But that was before that accident happened.
Most controversial moment in these World Finals, and there's one other person to be heard from, Bruce Penhall.
Bruce Penhall, your account of what happened over there. Kenny says you knocked him off.
No, I didn't. I got by him, and he tried to go on the outside of me, and that's exactly where I was going. There's nothing else I could do, you know. We had about 3 or 4 tussles earlier in the night, and, you know, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Let him shut off, let him go by? I didn't do it deliberately. He was on the outside of me. I never even saw him after I got by him. And then I just felt a little bit, and it was him.
This, of course, turns the race around and puts you back in the driver's seat. Despite all the conflict, you got to be pleased.
Yeah, I am pleased. I don't like what's going on with him, though. I mean, he's saying I deliberately did that, and I didn't do that at all. You know, this is racing. What can I say?
There you see Kenny Carter, very upset, distressed, realizing that the World Championship is slipping away from him here, Barry Briggs.
Yes, a very tough decision, Ken, but I think overall the referee made the right decision, and that's Speedway.
Race 15 is at the gate. In white, David Jessup, J Andersson in yellow from the outside, and on the break, it is David Jessup, the man who suffered the engine failure in his last race, now out in front. Coming up the inside, Hans Nielsen of Denmark in red.
Yes, Nielsen tore up the inside, but J Andersson rips under the inside of Nielsen into the pit corner, but he's got no change of it, and Jessup is still in the lead.
The Russian, Starostin, just out of it. He has not scored a point yet, and he is back in fourth in this race number 15.
Yes, and this is typical of Jessup. He gets his trouble, then he comes out and wins the race when it means nothing at all. He's out of the competition, but he needs the points because a lot of people all over the world look at this and rate a rider how they do in the speeding.
Dave Jessup in first. The second spot is Hans Nielsen of Denmark. There you see Jessup, 29 years old, one of the best riders in British League, but never has won the world champion. He has been part of the world pairs team in Speedway competition, but he's never put it together to win this one title that every rider wants more than any other. A big advantage now for David Jessup, sitting on 5 points. In that second position, Hans Nielsen of Denmark. And as the checkered flag comes out, J Andersson will finish in third. Jessup winning, and he has now collected 8 points on the event. On the finish, it is David Jessup first, in second Hans Nielsen, and Andersson in third. So Jessup now has 2 wins, 1 second, and 1 DNF did not finish. Preparing now for race 16. In this race, 2 riders who are battling to share the rostrum. It doesn't seem now they can win the World Championship, but D Sigalos there in white and Les Collins, who will be wearing yellow, both have 7 points as they move to event 16. Also in this event, George Hack of West Germany, who has collected 4 points, and Václav Werner of Czechoslovakia, who has collected but 1. Now the lineup has, in red, George Hack, then in blue, Werner. D Sigalos will start from the third gate in white, and Les Collins of Great Britain starts from the outside in yellow. Sigalos in his first World Final appearance, and that's the same case for Les Collins. He was the winner of the Intercontinental at Vetlanda, Sweden, to qualify for this World Championship event, first ever held in the United States.
This is a very, very important race for Sigalos. He's got to keep winning here, or Les Collins, because to me, looking at the program, the way it should happen, and it never really does in Speedway, this is going to be who gets second place in the World Championship here tonight.
Let's see what happens in race 16. Again, Sigalos in white. From Huntington Beach, California. Grew up with Bruce Penhall, started in Speedway with Penhall. Now arch enemies as they decide this World Championship. Collins on the outside, a very good gator, one of 4 brothers, all in Speedway from Great Britain.
And this is the showdown between Les Collins and D Sigalos. Sigalos looks to the outside, the tapes move fractionally quicker there. And Les Collins has made a blistering start from the outside. He gets down in front of Sigalos, and Sigalos has got to use every bit of talent he's got now to try to wear down Les Collins.
George Hack of West Germany rides third behind Sigalos, and out back Werner. In the back straightaway, it is Les Collins' race to win. First appearance in the World Finals for Les Collins. Sigalos trying to close on him.
And Sigalos up the inside.
Oh, he's got a crash out back. The red has come out. Red is out. Down has gone George Hack. George Hack has crashed. He and Václav Werner were in contact. We're going to be able to see it in replay as to exactly what happened here. But George Hack of West Germany went down. We have a replay, and let's look at it now.
And there we see Werner in the blue getting underneath Hack. He just takes his front wheel right from under him and leaves Hack with no front wheel, straight down, and I think the right decision by the referee.
The exclusion is Werner. Now that to me looked almost identical to the previous race where the exclusion was against the man who went down. Werner, however, in blue has been excluded, and George Hack will come back to the line to restart race 16.
And another chance for Sigalos. Very lucky chance for him. But Les Collins makes another startling start. And Hack in the inside gives Sigalos a little push, puts him back and gives Les Collins that little bit of room that he needed.
Sigalos around and back to second place in the white helmet. It's Les Collins first. Dennis Sigalos in second as Great Britain and the United States continue to pick up the points in this World Championship event. Les Collins and Dennis Sigalos, both riding for the first time in a world final, trying to make the rostrum. Down to the inside, Sigalos pinching that line out of turn 4.
Yes, and Sigalos, Ken, likes to ride nice and high on the track, but there's no dirt or speed up there, so he's been forced to ride down the inside. He's pulled back a bit of ground on Les Collins. Les Collins keeps having a look, but now he's got to do everything.
Remember, they were tied with 7 points coming into this event, into the final lap. One will have 10, one will have 9, and Sigalos drops back after making a real effort in turn number 1.
Les Collins seems to have the race well tied up. He's got a fast motorcycle. He's got himself out of the lead. He has a look at Sigalos. Sigalos realises it's a hopeless case. A win for Les Collins over Dennis Sigalos.
So Les Collins collects 10 points as he continues his effort. Dennis Sigalos is up to a total of 9 now, with 2 for second place in this event, and George Hack accumulates 1 more point. Werner excluded after he was in contact with George Hack, forcing this race into a restart. Les Collins of England wins race 16. Dennis Sigalos, here you see him, in second place, 2 points, and now a total of 9. So with 16 races complete, these are the standings. With 1 ride to go, Penhall on top with 11, Collins in second with 10, and a 3-way tie with 9 points each, Moran, Sigalos, and Carter. And here you see Kenny Carter ready to try once again. Carter on 9 points, tied with Moran and Sigalos, coming out for race 17, in which he'll face Kelly Moran and the winner of that last event, Les Collins. There's Ivan Major, his manager, still working with him. What do they talk about at this time?
I think he's just trying to get his psyched up again. He's probably a little bit low after that crash, but I think Kenny probably would feeling a bit low now, so he'd have trouble getting ready to race.
Last ride for Moran, Carter, Collins, and Jessup. On the inside, Kelly Moran in red, then Kenny Carter in blue, Les Collins in white, David Jessup in yellow. At the line for race 17. Collins in this race with 10 points, Moran and Carter each have 9. Very important race if one wants to reach the rostrum and be one of the top 3 in the world for 1982. A little edgy at the gate is Les Collins, white helmet. Field organized.
As you can see, Ken, he's starting very, very close to number 4, trying to get in front of him.
On the start.
And a perfect start again by Les Collins. He's got the starting down to a fine art now, but Kelly Moran comes out of the corner just ahead of him. But look at the speed he's got. He's got that little bit of speed, and he just rides past Kelly Moran on the straight.
Les Collins certainly has the right gear. Back comes Kelly Moran on the inside. Back in third spot, Kenny Carter, and after the perils of that crash, having a bit of trouble getting probably back up to full peak.
So Collins has got a very, very smooth line. He's moving out. He's looking for a bit more drive. He's not worried about it. He's done 2 on a trot. You would have thought he might have even been a little bit tired for this race, but he's got the bit between his teeth, and look at him go. No matter what Moran does, he cannot wear Collins down.
Moran trying to get on the inside. The helmet cover coming off a bit on the leader. Les Collins in first, Kelly Moran in second, and Kenny Carter stuck there in third, trying to move around. Kelly Moran, that winning style of Kenny Carter, in trouble after that terrible crash. Miraculous that he is up and even riding again. Checkered flag is out. The winner in race number 17, Les Collins of Great Britain, Kelly Moran in second, and Kenny Carter just 1 point for the third spot. So the totals come out for Les Collins in his first World Championship performance at 13 points. Many said it would take 13 to win the World Championship. Let's look again at the start.
And the main rider to watch is Les Collins in the white gate number 3. Look at him sit back, actually pulling the bike into the ground to get the tyre, to get that extra bit of bike. Carter's right under him. Carter goes a little bit wide, and that allows Kelly Moran. Look where Kelly's sitting on his bike. He's down the inside in the deep dirt, and he's pulled that little bit coming out of the corner on Collins.
There's Les Collins on the outside making that drive that took him to first place. He's standing by with Dave Despain.
13 points in my first World Final ever. Hopefully the other riders that are nearest to me will perhaps lose a few points, and hopefully I can come out on top in the end.
You'd like to have that third ride back, I'll bet.
Well, yeah, it's cost 2 points. I think if I'd used the bike I used in my last 2 races, I should have won that one as well, I think. But it's just knowing when to change machines for the different track conditions, and it worked out okay in the end, so it's all right.
This is the 18th race, and the lineup as follows. On the inside in red, George Hack of West Germany on 5 points. Peter Collins in blue from England with 3. Then Jancarz in white from Poland, who has 7 points as he goes to his last ride. And Hans Nielsen of Denmark on the outside in yellow. He has accumulated 5 as he moves to his last ride.
Nielsen on the outside, very big wheelie, but he managed to get it under control just as he turned to the corner, but went past a little bit, just gave George Hack a little bit of room to get past. But Hack goes down the back straight. He was in a bit of trouble, and Nielsen takes the outside course.
Hans Nielsen into first. George Hack in the red helmet falling to second place. Hack, a long truck rider, in trouble for a moment in turn number 1. Gathers it back up, but it's Nielsen of Denmark leading this event. Hans Nielsen in first, Hack is in second, and riding third, the former world champion from Great Britain, Peter Collins. Collins on the outside going for second place.
That's the second outside corner pass we've seen, Ken. They must be getting a bit more speed on the outside of the track now, but Nielsen looks as though they've shown the potential. Everybody thought he was a potential world champion before the night started, and now he's shown his best form, but it's too late.
Hans Nielsen coming across with a lap to go. Another one of the riders schooled by the former world champion Ollie Olsen has a 10 bike length advantage, and he will collect 3 points. Unless there's a mechanical malfunction here, it will be Hans Nielsen to win race number 18. Nielsen is across the line. Nielsen finishing with 8 points for the meet. Hack with 6, Collins with 5. Let's look and replay at that start once again.
Hans Nielsen in yellow on the outside start. He's got his position exactly right. You can see he's on one wheel, goes a little bit too far, goes past the corner, but that's absolute perfect grip to the first corner, and what a superb start.
Next to last race, race 19, and this should decide the World Championship. Penhall, if he can win here, collecting 3 points, would win the World Championship by 1 point. If he finishes second, it would force a runoff with Les Collins. And now let's take a look at the riders for race number 19. On the inside, the Russian who has yet to score, Starostin. Then comes J Stancl of Czechoslovakia. In white, Bruce Penhall of the United States. And Verner of Czechoslovakia starts on the outside in yellow. Bruce Penhall attempting to become the first American to ever win the World Speedway title twice. The only other American to hold the crown, Jack Mill, 1937. It all comes down to race 19, the final performance for Bruce Penhall in white.
And Penhall makes a superb start, straight down the inside. He just wants to get his nose out in front. This will probably be the loneliest ride he's had all night.
J Stancl is in second place, and in third, Verner. The two Czechoslovak riders, second and third in this event. Falling back is the Russian, Starostin, just not having a good night, not scoring a point if it comes down to the finish as they are riding currently.
Penhall now will want to just cruise along. He doesn't want to be pushed hard. He wants to keep his eye on the opposition. Every little knock he hears from his engine he'll be worried about, because all he has to do now is finish and keep his motorcycle running.
J Stancl riding very well, moves up on Penhall. Penhall looks back, sees him there. Stancl trying a higher line into turn 3.
And this is the last thing that really Penhall wants to do. He doesn't really want to start racing too hard because he wants to nurse everything to make sure of his World Championship.
Stancl in trouble for a moment. Got some unexpected grip and he fell back, and it will put Bruce Penhall well in front. This should decide the World Championship for the United States. Bruce Penhall, Stancl one last run out of 4, but it's Penhall to the line. Bruce Penhall, with a total of 14 points, has won the World Championship. J Stancl congratulating Penhall. Bruce Penhall of Huntington Beach, California, has done it. In his third World Final appearance, he becomes the second American to win a World Championship and the only American to ever do it twice. His crew and K Moran collecting him up on the track, not even allowing him back into the pit area. And you can hear the some 40,000 enthusiastically receiving the new world champion, Bruce Penhall.
An American finish for the 1982 world champion, Bruce Penhall.
Bruce Penhall, 1981 world champion and 1982 world champion. Congratulations. It's been a rough and rocky road for you tonight. How do you feel?
I feel great. Unbelievable. I can't believe it, you know. I mean, what happened earlier is what happened. There's not a lot I can say about it. They can't take this away from me, though. I'm world champion again.
Absolutely not. Now, we've got to ask you, Bruce, we know the situation, but you're world champion again. Is it going to mean that you still will be giving up International Speedway?
Well, I think I'll announce that in about 2 minutes, I think. Can't let out any information right now.
Ben's been called in. Bruce Penhall, everyone, I think, all over the world watching this congratulates you. The Norwegian referee made the decisions. That's the way it goes. And again, you're happy with the way it went.
That's right. You know, like you just said, I didn't make the decision. The referee did. That's racing.
Okay, Bruce Penhall, the world champion.
Thank you.
Bruce Penhall has made it very evident that he intends to retire, but he's holding the announcement for the rostrum of his intention to become an actor. And there is the man who lost it all in race 14, Kenny Carter. It was so very, very close. The final race, race number 20. J Andersson starts on the inside in red. K Niemi in blue starts second. P Crump of Australia in white. And D Sigalos must stay up and score in this race if he intends to make the podium and be one of the top 3 in the 1982 World Finals. Sigalos starting from the outside in yellow.
Sigalos makes another perfect start right down the line. Andersson makes not a bad start, but Sigalos is beautifully and loose. He knows he's heading for a place on the rostrum, and Andersson's just riding for the points and the point money.
K Niemi rides in third. K Niemi comes to the inside to challenge, trying to move under Andersson, not getting the spot. It is D Sigalos in first. His intention in his very first World Final to share the rostrum with Bruce Penhall, the man he started racing with as a kid.
Yes, Ken, and he's just riding superbly now, Sigalos. He's settled in, he's not worried. At this stage, you can become very nervous when you think you're going to get a place in the World Final, but not worrying him at all. He's taking advantage. Look at that, on one wheel down the straight for all his fans.
J Andersson of Sweden stays in second place. K Niemi is in third from Finland. 1 lap to go in the 1982 World Championship.
Sigalos, what can we say more about him? He's had a good World Final, just shakes his fist to his fans. No trouble at all, just cruising now, and it's third place on the roster misses, and the American wheelie across the line.
D Sigalos coming across first in this event puts him third overall to Les Collins in second, and Bruce Penhall is the world champion. For the first time out in a world championship event, that is some performance by D Sigalos, Barry Briggs.
Yes, fantastic. Puts America first, third, and fourth, Ken. A bit like the old days when they did clean sweep, first, second, and third in 1937.
Bruce Penhall of the United States, the world champion in Speedway for 1982. His old teammate, D Sigalos, shares the rostrum in third place, and the brilliant New English rider Les Collins takes second. K Moran winds up in fourth. The United States 1, 3, and 4. Great Britain finishing in second for the 1982 World Individual Championships. From the Los Angeles Coliseum, for Barry Briggs, I'm Ken Squire.